My name is Don Rose. I've lived in the school district about 19 years now. I'm a military veteran. I retired out of Fort Leonard Wood. Throughout my military career as a child, because I was a military brat, I visited many school districts. I changed schools like every so many years as we PCS'd. Then once I became a parent and I joined the Army, then I had the opportunity there. Some call it a misfortune. My daughter changed schools like every 2 years. So being in a school district for 19 years is a pleasure to me. I've been in this school district longer than anywhere else as a child or as an adult moving forward.
So to start off, why do you want to be a part of the school board?
So as I just mentioned in my introduction, as I grew up as a child, and then as I moved around as a parent, my education and my child's education was in a different school district every year. To be able to land in such an excellent school district as Plato, I just want to be a part of, that's my motivation. I want to be a part of making others successful, student success.
Thank you.
I want to ask, what do you think the biggest problem at Plato High School is, and what can you do to fix it?
So the biggest problem in Plato is probably grades, teacher retention. And I say the two of those, I put them together because I've reviewed the scores every year. Plato is not as high as I think it can be. So when I think about student grades, I'm like, how can we get the grades better? Because it may not necessarily be the individuals so much as I wonder, are we getting the right curriculum? Are we getting the right education? I've noticed over the 3 years I've been here, teacher retention is difficult because you could just drive up the road maybe 30 minutes to Waynesville, for example, and teachers can make a lot more money. And I don't fault them necessarily for doing that, but I want to be able to get teacher pay, as your superintendents and stuff do. They want to get teacher pay to a more competitive level. Now, when you understand the budgeting process of that, it's not as easy as just saying, let's just pay teachers more. You have to manage the budget appropriately because there's a lot of other things besides pay. But to get to that level, and working with our leaders in Jefferson City helps with that. And I've done that several times.
What do you think should be done to help the students academically?
Academically, well, as I just said with the other gentleman, I want to concentrate on teacher retention. I want to concentrate on teacher recruitment, getting the good quality teachers. And doing that is, like I said, teacher pay. Academically, I want to make sure we got the right curriculum. Facility-wise, I want to make sure you have a safe, secure, and proper environment for learning. And that's everything from keeping the facility clean, keeping the facility safe, and things of that nature. We've all seen in the news, there's a lot of districts throughout the United States that have security problems. I think if the students can come to school and know that they're going to be safe, that's one less thing they got to worry about. And then they could leave the teaching and the education up to the staff, so they don't have to worry about that. And then of course the students can concentrate on learning as well.
Considering that you've been on the school board for 3 years, what have been your greatest accomplishments?
First of all, it's not been my accomplishments. It's that of the board and the staff. I just spoke of school improvement, facility improvements, for example. I'm real proud of what we've been able to do. Now, for some of you, you may not even notice these things, but for example, your doors. When I came into the school district, the doors on your classroom were very old. They were not secure, they were not safe. The door itself is now a lockable door. We removed the vent at the bottom where anybody could enter, and it looks nicer. If you look in the, I was gonna say latrine, restrooms, in the gym, for example, It's our goal to get all restrooms in the facility as nice as those. And that's facility maintenance. We've done improvements on the bus barn. That's important because you now have a safe mode of transportation to get to and from school if you need. So with respect to facilities, that's it. I did notice this year the school scores were slightly higher than the previous years. It's too early to tell if there's a trend, but we'll see next year. And that goes to all things policy driven that I hope has been an accomplishment of the board. It might be not the improvement of myself or the school board. It might be just the students did very well this year, and I want to see that continue as well.
What do you think that the biggest strengths that we have at Plato are?
The biggest strengths is the people. Your biggest strengths is your people, your families. One thing I've noticed, being the outsider, meaning I did not go to this school district, I did not grow up in this community, I chose this community when I retired. So I think your biggest strength is your people, meaning I moved around a lot. It's refreshing to sit and talk to people that know their neighbors, knows their bus driver, knows their teachers, know their teachers' children's. The teachers were probably schoolmates of the parents. You with me so far? Mm-hmm. I think that's the biggest strength, is the community, the people. I love the Plato area, even though it covers 4 counties. I love the area. I like getting to know the people. And like I said, I bounced around the planet in the Army for 25 years. As a child, I bounced around the planet just as long. So being in this district as long as I have, although not as short as your parents, or excuse me, not as long as your parents, that's what I think your biggest strength is, your people. I love coming to the Veterans Day ceremonies, not for myself, but because I get to meet like-minded people that are proud of their country and proud of their community. Those are people that went away from the community to do different things and chose to come back. The next Veterans Day ceremony, ask yourself, why did they go away and then come back? They went away for various reasons, to serve their country or do something else, but they came back. There's a reason for that. So think of that yourself once you move forward and make decisions for your future. There's other places out there, but there's always a need or a reason to come back.
What qualities do you think you have that would make a good fit for the school board?
So, qualities that I have. I'm going to associate qualities and skills, so I'm probably answering 2 questions at once.
That's okay.
So qualities. I think I'm a good communicator. And when I say communicator, I think I could get my point across when I'm talking to my peers on the school board. I think I could get my point across when I'm talking to community members or staff and faculty. But at the same time, communicator, I think I'm a good listener, because it's important to be a good communicator, to be a listener. When I talk to people in the community and they tell me their ideas or their suggestions, or sometimes their complaints, I think I'm a good listener to be able to come back to the staff and faculty or the superintendent and express those. Skills, also a quality. In my upbringing in the Army and in my current position on Fort Leonard Wood, I understand budget. My day job has me doing a lot of budgeting, especially now if you watch the news. It's very important to manage a strict budget. I understand the hiring process to look for quality staff and faculty and things of that nature. And I'm a parent, grandparent of a pupil, which is probably the most important quality.
My question is, how are you going to help the students within the special education classrooms?
One, I want to make sure they get, because when you talk special education, that's in your role it might be smaller. I'm thinking broader because it's constantly changing. I want to make sure they have the right facilities. I want to make sure they have the right curriculum, And most importantly, I want to make sure they have the right staff, the right teacher, to help accomplish those special needs requirements. Did that answer your question, or did you have something more specific in mind?
Well, I do have something more specific I want to ask.
Is it something you want recorded, or is it something?
It can be recorded.
Okay.
So, I myself am high functioning autism, or have I functioning autism?
Yes.
How are, like, I don't know how to explain, but how would you bring up to your peers how to help those like myself, where they don't have a 504 or an IEP or any like special like requirements that are facilitated by the school?
Yeah, so it goes back to some of the other questions I answered. I want to make sure you have the right staff and faculty to understand your needs. Not all teachers may be inclined by skill to be able to address your needs. So we got to make sure that the staff and faculty are trained to address your needs. I'm not saying they're bad teachers because they don't know. I'm just saying they probably haven't had that curriculum or whatever. Then I want that staff and faculty to have the curriculum to be able to address your needs. And I'm using the word your generically because each special needs person may have a different special need. So I want to have the right staff and faculty, I want to have the right facilities, and I want to have the right curriculum to meet those needs as well.
Thank you, Mr. Rose.
Yeah, thank you. Hey Joshua, pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too. So, as you said, this is your third year being on the school board.
I've been on the school board for 3 years.
So this upcoming year will hopefully be your fourth, is
Yes.
what you're hoping
Yes.
for? So, do you have any future implementations or plans that you're trying to get following up on, or like what's the plan?
Yeah, so great question. So I think any of the school board members will tell you the first year on the school board, you're drinking from a fire hose, meaning you're getting all this information thrown at you. They tell me as a new school board member to take a online class, and then they allow me to go to a 1-day course. But then when I'm sitting there with my experienced peers in that first year, there's all kinds of acronyms, discussions, things of that nature that I'm constantly taking notes. I go home and I read, or I'm asking my peer to my left or right, what does this mean? What did that mean? What did he say? So over the 3 years, I've gotten better at understanding those policies and procedures and things of that nature. So to answer your question, moving forward, I want to get deeper into the policies. I want to get deeper into the curriculum now that I've gotten my feet wet, so to speak, and move forward there. I now have a greater understanding of the budget process, and that's what I want to continue to improve. I want to continue to improve myself, but to continue to improve on those areas.
What would be your main thing that you want to focus on if you were reelected?
My main thing I want to focus on, if I put a big umbrella over the whole thing, the main thing I want to focus on is student success. What can I do on any given day to improve student success? That's my main focus. That's my only focus. I have no other agenda except for student success. I have a grandson in this school, 3rd grade. He started as a kindergartner, he's now in 3rd grade. I don't want him to bounce around the planet like I did. So I know if I can make you successful, if I can make him successful, that young man will grow up to be successful and live in a great community. So when you say focus, student success. Now, if I've got to wrestle with a budget issue, I'm going to do it. If I've got to wrestle with a curriculum issue, I'm going to do it. If I have to go to Jefferson City and advocate for resources, I'm going to do it. So, you may or may not know, last year, there was a big issue with the south gate of Fort Leonard Wood. Did anybody hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went to Jefferson City over that issue, and everybody said, what's that got to do with Plato School District? So, a lot of people don't realize that a large portion of your funding comes from federal aid, and that federal aid is based on how many federal employees, whether it be an employee, a soldier, or whatever, that has children in the school district. Well, about 50% of the children that go to the school are associated with that. So I took that information to Jefferson City and I said, hey, I have a problem in my district. I have a problem in my district and I need your help with it, because they're thinking Fort Leonard Wood is just an Army problem. It's just closing the gate. But I was able to link that back to the school. And in doing so, me and a couple other school board members was able to get the event at the community center where we actually got those leaders together in a room to discuss the problem. That's just a simple way that I work towards student success, because I did not want to risk any loss of budget to get to that point.
Like the people choose you over the other.
Why should they choose me? Interesting question. Interesting question. I'll answer it a couple of ways. One, it's because I want them to. Because I enjoy being part of this school district. I could answer it in the way that I just said. I'm involved in the community. I have the knowledge, skills, and attributes to be a good school board member. I like being part of the team of teams that the Plato School District is.